My nose doesn't drip this whole thing.
Hey, we're back on the Morning Brew. Thank you for watching us here today. We're live in our studios in downtown Albuquerque. Our view, of course, high above Lindy's Cafe. All right, it's a pleasure to welcome to the big round table our next guest. And she is the newly appointed District 7 City Councilor, Janice Arnold-Jones. Janice, good to see you.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning. Thanks for being here.
We love the Morning Brew. This is fabulous.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You've been watching, you and John, huh?
Yes, we have been watching.
Fantastic. I gave you a little tour of the set a few months ago, prior to firing up the lights and everything.
But it looks even better than when I was here. The view from the window is just terrific, and it is just and I love the logo.
Oh, thank you.
And the promos that you have done with the coffee and the napkins, we love it.
Thank you. Wow, you can
Very
stay around.
people
You
here.
want to stay here the whole show? This would be great. Keep it
Boost our
coming.
ego all day.
All right. Well, April 15th, the mayor said you're in. You got appointed.
Well, actually, he called me up about 10:30 in the morning, and he said, "Can you be here by noon? Could you wear something so you could go to a press conference?" He had no idea that I was actually standing in a hole fixing a sprinkler head.
Oh,
and I literally had mud because I hadn't done this very well.
No kidding. You were working in your yard. You were covered in dirt, and the mayor's on the phone.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So, but that's really how it happened. And at 3:30, I was sworn in by Amy Bailey, the city clerk, and at 5 o'clock, I was at City Council.
Wow. So what has that been like? Just all of a sudden, hey, you're city councilor. Like, in the middle of a budget season.
Well, you know, the good news is that I have a little process background. So, but it is different. The city council operates somewhat differently than the legislature. But getting up to speed. Right. The departments are different. The language is different.
The acronyms are different.
Boy, are the acronyms different. But there's some very cool things too. You know, I'm a real advocate of technology, and at the legislature, you know, I took the webcams in, but you didn't probably see the part where I took my computer down on the floor and said, "Let me see these documents electronically." And it's so at the legislature. Yeah. I'm telling you what, this is screaming at the city council. I was able to pull up all the documents of the bills that I had to read before 5 o'clock, and all of the historical documents that went with it. And I actually got them all read before I had to cast a vote.
Nice.
Fantastic. Where did you get this name, Lady Sunshine? I didn't know that about you.
Her Twitter handle.
Tell us about this nickname.
Well, I would say so. You may remember that I sat on the Tax and Revenue Committee, and there were a lot of deals, including the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Authority, that were done late at night. Nobody was there. And I just thought that was not right.
Right.
And so I went to the speaker and said, you know, can we please webcast this? There are people in Eunice and Deming and Farmington who can't get here.
Right.
And I promise you, I asked nicely 3 years in a row, and on the 4th year, which was 2009, I just pulled a little webcam and my computer, figured out how to do this, not ever touching the state system, and webcast Tax and Revenue.
You just did it.
I just did it.
And ask questions later or get forgiveness later, right?
Well, kind of. You know, there was a very narrow set of rules with which I could comply. So I wasn't breaking any rules. I was communicating with my constituents. But I have to hand it to the local media. You know, you cannot keep anything secret in Santa Fe. And they made a choice to let me actually get on the air before they shut me down. Yeah. and once it was there, it was there.
And that was the beginning of a huge movement. Now you can go online and see videos, listen to the legislature briefing. I mean, everything. It's awesome.
It is, you know, and I think the citizens of New Mexico truly deserve that.
Yeah, and they have a right to hear what's happening.
Absolutely.
So you represent District 7 on the council. Roughly, what's that neighborhood?
It is just the best neighborhood.
Okay.
So it is on the east side, Eubank. On the west side, it goes Carlisle. When it hits I-40, it kind of dips down into the triangle until it gets to I-25, comes back up on Montgomery on the north side and Lomas on the south side. Oh. So I have Uptown, I have Coronado, I have Windrock.
Can you get us a parking place then at Uptown?
Actually, you know, I think what they're going to do is the next phase is to add some more parking. And I'm very excited about just the activity and the energy,
it's great.
revitalizing Windrock. But then we have this big industrial area down in what I call this triangle, the I-40, I-25 triangle, which is where lots of people work. So great schools, established neighborhoods, terrific parks.
Yeah, a lot of good things are coming. And
absolutely.
We had Gary Goodman on the show a few weeks ago, and he was talking about Windrock and all the development there. So we're excited to see the future of that.
Well, I would say, but there's some challenges coming too, not the least of which is all of a sudden we have more pedestrians crossing Louisiana, especially from the hotels going to all these fabulous new restaurants. And you know, it's probably too big of a street with too many people, and we're going to have to come up with an answer. And I'm excited about that because it may not be your standard answer.
Ooh.
So I like that.
Good. Interesting.
So what has been your biggest challenge so far? I mean, I know it's all very new, but jumping in and taking on this position.
The biggest challenge is obviously I had a life kind of going on, and so the scheduling has been a little bit interesting. And this week in particular, this is the second, what they call the second cow. That's the committee of the whole. Looking at the, but isn't that an interesting term?
I'm like,
the second cow.
They do have different acronyms over there. Okay.
And so it's the committee of the whole, and you know, I mean, things were already set, but it happens to be my mother's birthday. So all my family is coming in. My mother will be 87. And there's certain things that, you know, I mean, I have to be at the cow, but I cannot miss my mother's birthday. So, so the scheduling has been a little bit challenging. Reading the budget kind of from front to back, that's really not the best way to understand a budget. And it's just such scintillating reading.
I bet.
So those are the challenges. The best part for me is even when I was elected to the legislature, I had come from the neighborhoods. I helped to start the Sandia High School Area Neighborhood Association. Then I became the District 7 Coalition Secretary for a long time. I think I was there a long time because I missed the meeting and nobody replaced me. That is how that works.
Wow.
and so knowing what the neighborhoods are and those issues is really the best. And I love getting out and actually talking to my neighbors.
And you are involved. I always see you out at these community events. So that's
So
great.
this is a natural progression for you, just to take on the city council seat. So we got to be the reporters here.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for a
I'm ready.
reporter-like question?
I am ready.
Are you going to run for re-election?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we made some news.
Yes.
Look at us. Morning Brew with a scoop. Well, sure you are. Why not?
Well, and clearly one of the things that when the mayor appointed me, he said, A, can you do this? Can you do this now? And can you stand for election? And I was able to do all of those things, and I was honored that he asked me. So, great guy.
So you came to us to talk a little bit about 311 as well.
I did, and I want to hold this up. I'm not sure if we can.
No, we have a graphic.
Do we have a graphic?
We have a little photo for it.
Oh, good. Well, I would say so.
And our director will put that up.
The director of information technology at the city is really moving services forward. So did you know that you can pay your parking ticket online?
No.
Absolutely. And absolutely, that has been available since the first of the year. The 311 app, if you have a smartphone, and I live by my smartphone, you can actually download an app, and if you hit a pothole and take out one of the rack and pinion things out of your front end, you can just push that button and it will automatically send a report to 311.
Oh, wow.
If your trash was missed, if there's graffiti, you can make all of those reports electronically. Now what that does for the city is the operator was going to make a report anyway, was going to key it all in. Because of the way the app is set up, it actually does that. It actually bypasses that step and gets immediately into the workflow. Very exciting stuff.
That is really great, and just the ease of that is so easy. Just, I mean, personally, when I have to talk to people, I get kind of annoyed, and just the thought of it, I'm just like, I'm not even going to do it. With an app, that's awesome. Everybody, you know, just throw it on your phone, and there you go.
There you go. That's it.
But I assure you that if you don't have a smartphone and you can't do the apps, you can go online to ABQ 311, and you can still call them. And they're terrific. It is just one of the best programs we have.
And I have actually done the 311, and the people are just so nice. When I'm just like, well, I don't know, and they're like, oh yeah, here you go, and I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. It's just talking to your neighbor.
Right, but one of the best things about 311 is the amount of calls that have been taken away from 911. And
That's nice.
And 911 still gets about 150,000 calls. But you want them to be the appropriate calls.
Right.
And
now we're going to put up on our screen your contact info, but knowing you as I do, you want to hear from constituents and city residents.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, if there is a problem, I have to tell you, you asked me what one of the first challenges was. There was a mistake made. I have a lady in a neighborhood whose curb in front of her house was painted completely yellow. Her family cannot park there.
Oh.
This is not, you know, in the scheme of things, is it a big deal?
No, but it's important to her.
It is important to her, and I get a hand in actually being able to fix things like that, and quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you for being
That's
on the
awesome.
show.
Oh, it
Thank you
was
for
a
being a
privilege.
fan.
It was a privilege.
Well, you can come back anytime. You know
Thank
that.
you.
Huh?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you for
Janice Arnold-Jones, our guest, the new city councilor. Back in a moment on the Morning Brew.